Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you with a touch of laryngitis. Welcome to my virtual living room. I appreciate all of your compliments on the different backdrops that I use. Occasionally, I am not in a place where I have a suitable background. Let me cue that up for you. And it's fun to use some of these virtual ones. It gives me a feeling of happiness, a serene feeling. And I am after that, especially after these last couple of weeks with all of the horrific headlines in the news. I feel that we need to take a break from that. So I've got a story for you today, an inspiring story for you. It's a true story, one that I was a part of. And I'm going to leave you with the question to answer. Is this a violation of child labor laws? And this is going to tie into an inspiring and encouraging program, a brand new one that I've created for you if you have been procrastinating on your dreams. And even if you're not interested in going after your dreams, or you're already going after them without any hiccups or setbacks or getting stuck anywhere, I still believe that you're going to find this story inspiring and encouraging. So it's something that happened to me that I was a part of a few years ago, and it really changed my perspective on work, on earning money, on so many things. And I want to share all of that with you. This show is brought to you by musclewithpeggy.com. We need to muscle our way through this. So let me take you on over to the website, and these are from my friends over at BioTrust. And I also want to thank those of you that have been using these products. You know, I used to make my own health and wellness products. That's going to fit into the picture and the story that I have for you. But what I want to tell you is that, you know, you begin to lose muscle around the age of 30. Yes, 30. And then at 40, you start to lose up to 10% of muscle every decade. So imagine by the time you're in your 50s and your 60s, that muscle is being lost at a rapid pace. But that's why hundreds of thousands of people are taking action to reverse this loss of the muscle. And they do it with this amazing new product. You can find it at musclewithpeggy.com. It combines premium ingredients that offer powerful support to build and preserve muscle mass and strength, and it promotes muscular endurance, improves athletic performance, and also promotes muscle hydration. That can also help reduce soreness and promote post-exercise recovery. So I want you to learn all about it. Go to musclewithpeggy.com. I will have a link for you in the description box below. You can get up to 41% off today, as you can see in the headline. And my friends at BioTrust are always going to be offering you additional free bonuses like VIP coaching for life, for health and fitness. You also get free ebooks to download. You have a money-back guarantee. So check it out. musclewithpeggy.com. Friends, I used to make my own health and wellness products, and I want to tell you a story about a young neighbor and the products that I make and the business that I had and how this inspired me and continues to inspire me today. And I hope that this will inspire you as well. Some people are going to look at my story and say that I'm in violation of child labor laws, but that was the furthest thing from my mind when my gosh, how many years ago was this? It was prior to the hogwash. And I'll just take you on over to my website, that actually a couple of pictures. And I do have a website called Living Swell with Peggy Hall. And this is something that I've been involved in for well over a decade. And that is my health and wellness coaching. And I've done health and beauty products. And this is one product in particular that many of you have asked me to bring back. So let me know in a comment below if you would be interested in my own handcrafted youth serum that I refined over, not refined in terms of the ingredients, but in terms of the composition and how well, you can read the story for yourself right here. Living Swell with Peggy Hall Youth Serum. And I want to show you this picture of my skin. I've been an outdoor person all my life. I was a competitive swimmer at a young age. Here I am outside of a community swimming pool where I was teaching my fitness classes. And this is after using my youth serum. And this was before. So I had very mottled, splotchy skin from being in the sun. And actually, as an adult, a young adult, like in my 30s, I had an outbreak of what could be called adult acne. So my skin was very irritated. And I went to a dermatologist who put me on a very strong soap, which was so drying to my skin that it actually stripped my skin of all of the oil. You can read the entire story here, and it left me, excuse me, with this very damaged skin. I got a sip on my hot lemony here with organic honey for my throat. So after I had great results with this, I was holding my health and wellness clinics and surf retreats and healing retreats for women. They would always ask me, Peggy, what do you do for your skin? And I said, well, I just have concocted my own formula, which is what I use, and I don't use anything else. And they said, oh, I would love to use it. Can you make some for me? So lo and behold, I embarked on a business of creating this youth serum. Now this fits in, you can't even buy this right now. So it's not available because when everything happened with all of the hogwash back in 2020, of course, all of this was pretty much, thrown out to the off the rails because I could not get my raw materials delivered. I had a difficult time because people weren't even buying anything online. And then I had a large number of followers that just stopped following me on my health and wellness information because they thought that I was killing people by telling them that the government didn't have any right to take your breath away. So all of that kind of went haywire. And when I sold out of the product that I had prepared, I just decided that I was going to put that on hiatus, and it's been on hiatus all these years. But many people have asked me to bring it back. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because it fits into the story of the child labor laws. And let me show you another image because this was a part of the product that I had. Again, all natural, organic, and see these cute little soaps here. So these are handmade organic soaps, and they're not made by my hands, but I did have them made for me in these beautiful, all natural fragrances. Well, fragrance is unnatural, but all of these essential oil scents, and it was absolutely beautiful. So I would have little gift sets and things like this. And here is where the story comes full circle. So all of this was created, all of these products were created, handcrafted by me one by one. So a labor of love. I absolutely just have been fascinated with natural health and beauty for many years. And I was literally operating out of my garage. So my next door neighbor at the time was a third grader. He was 8 years old, and it was summer, and he rode by on his bike, and he saw that I had the garage door open and I was working on some of my products. I also had t-shirts, but mainly I was wrapping my little soaps and applying the labels and tying the bow. As you could see, I was applying the labels to my youth serum and creating, each bottle is literally handcrafted one by one. So it has the right amount of ingredients, which are all natural. And the young neighbor came by and he said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm working on my products. And he said, can I help? And I said, sure, come on in. And I texted his mom and I said, I'll just call him Kay. Kay is over here at my house. And I just wanted to know if it's okay for Kay to help me on some of my products. He wanted to offer a hand, and I'd be happy to, pay him $5 or something if you think that's okay. She said, yeah, absolutely fine. He was just going to ride off to the little neighborhood park. So that sounds great. So Kay comes in and I set him to work putting the little soaps in the cellophane wrappers. Now you let me know, when was your first job that you earned money? Okay. My first job of earning money was at the age of 15. I had my own job, which was the age of 12. But when I was hired by somebody, that was the age of 15 when I was teaching swimming lessons. Later, I went on to do my own private swimming lessons. And I absolutely loved that I was making money on my own. I was in business for myself at a very young age. So I want to hear your stories as well. And here's Kay, 8 years old, happy to be helping me and feeling very productive. He's contributing, and he got a lot done really quickly. And I gave him $5, and he went off and rode his bike, and he said, thanks. And I said, thank you. It really helped me a lot. So the next day, I hear a little knock on my garage door, and it might've been the front door. And I opened the door, and there's Kay. And he said, do you have any work for me today? And I said, yeah, I think I can find something for you to do. So I gave him all my different receipts to organize. and put in place. And then I had him put the t-shirts in inventory by size and color and count them up. And I thought, this is incredible that an 8-year-old in the middle of summer would rather come work than go play with his friends. And I just thought this was incredible. And again, I texted his mom and she said, oh, that's absolutely fine. I hope he's not in any trouble. I said, no, it's the contrary. On the contrary, he's actually helping me and he's so efficient and he's smart. And I'm trying to find things for him to do because there's a lot that he could do here. So I sort of planned in advance, like, okay, I'm going to have him do some of these other items that will help me in the business. So the next day he shows up with a friend of his. All right. The friend, I think, was in 5th grade. So he was a little bit older. And the same thing, I said, now you better ask your mom if it's okay. And he said, oh yeah, I already asked her when Corey came over to pick me up this morning. And I said, okay, just want to make sure it's all right. And again, I'm paying them cash at the end of the day for the hours that they're working. But here's where the story gets really interesting for me. And this is why I believe this experience had such a profound impact on me, even though I was a young entrepreneur. And again, if you're interested in that, I want to show you how to get your hands on a program that I've created for you to get unstuck on some of your dreams. I've been one of those people that kind of just dives in, and then I look to see if there's water in the pool. And I've made some mistakes along the way, and I want you to learn from my mistakes so you can avoid hitting your head if there's no water in the pool. But this really impacted me. So Kay and his friend Jay were over, and here they are doing the inventory of the t-shirts and wrapping the soaps and putting the labels on the bottles and helping me package things up. And it was really a huge help. And that was something else that I learned, which is in my new online program about asking for help and getting help and not feeling like you have to do it all yourself. And it was pretty clever that I had a 5th grader and a 3rd grader and a 6th grader helping me, 5 and 8 years old, or maybe 8 years old, I guess it was. And they were just having such a great time. And they looked at each other and they looked at me and they said, Miss Peggy, what is our job? I thought about it for a minute and I said, well, you both are product managers. And they gave out a whoop and they gave each other a high five and they brought their shoulders back and stood up a little taller. And they said, yeah, we're product managers. Now, at that time, the garage doors open and the 3 of us are just working hands-on in the garage. And one of their little friends comes by on her bike. And she said, hey, Kay, hey, Jay, come on, I'm going to go ride my bike to the park. Let's go play. And I thought, well, that's fine. It's summer. These are little kids. Of course they can go play. They don't owe me anything. They're actually doing me a favor. And Kay and Jay looked at each other and they said, we can't, we're working. And they said it with such a sense of accomplishment, of duty. They were contributing to something. Now, much later, because I love to read about these things and research this kind of, human behavior. And I found out that families that have roles for their young children to be involved in, whether it's doing the laundry or sweeping the floor or putting away the dishes or walking the dog or doing something where they are contributing to the well-being of the household, that those children grow up with more confidence, with a greater sense of respect for time, for work, for effort. But more importantly, they felt that their contributions were valued. I'm not talking about slave labor. I'm not talking about being punished. And so you have to clean your room because you did something bad. I'm talking about being a valid, appreciated, valued member of the household. Now, sometimes in our society, it can go kind of extreme in both directions, where I remember I had some friends, like, they could never go out to play because their entire Saturday was doing chores. And in my household, we never called them chores. We just had household duties that we contributed to. So it didn't have a negative connotation for me. And I remember one of the things that I loved doing, and it was such a clever thing from my mom, is for each of the children. There were 4 of us, and each of us would have a week out of the month where we would, with my mom, plan the week's meals, and we would plan the budget, and we would go grocery shopping, and we would be able to sneak in our own favorite meals. Mine was taco casserole. And to this day, I think back on that time, it was not drudgery. I felt like I was learning something about running a household, about budgeting, about cooking, about preparing meals, about making something that somebody would like, about setting a table, about having family come together. Now, that's just one simple example in my household where I felt valued, I felt valuable, and I felt that my contributions were important and that I made a difference regardless of the money, because I don't even think I got an allowance. It was just a part of living in the family that you did things. And then, of course, cost and whatever were taken care of. But in this case, with the young boys that were working for me, here's where the story gets really interesting, because I was giving them money at the end of each of their days. And again, you could probably report me for child labor laws, because this was not something where I had hired them as employees. This was just a couple of neighbor friends that wanted to help out a neighbor. And I was thanking them with a little gratitude gift. But here's what was so interesting about the money. So my neighbor, the mom of Kay, said, "Peggy, I don't know what it is you guys are doing over there, but I need to tell you the story of taking my son shopping." And normally we would go shopping and he would be bothering me, right? An 8-year-old, he'd be bothering me, as she was describing it, for toys, for t-shirts, for stickers, for whatever the new things were. And I would tell him that he would have to save up for his allowance in order to pay for that, or that, maybe not this month, but next month. And I was trying to teach him about the value of money, but it didn't seem like he got it. And she said, "Guess what happened the last time we went to the store? When we were there, he had his money that he had earned from you. And when we were looking at things, he was looking at the price of the item and he was looking at the money that he had." And she said, "I believe he was probably weighing in his mind the amount of effort and time that it took for him to earn that money. And then he was able to relate it to the price of that item, and then to determine whether or not the price of that item and the item itself was worth that exchange of value for his time that he put in, the time that he wasn't playing, that he wasn't at the park or riding his bike, but that he was working for me." And by the way, this went on for the summer. And in fact, I had him work for me in more of an official capacity through high school. And he was an excellent employee, if I could put it that way. And he came up with new and better ways of efficiency of doing these gift set kits, as I showed you, and doing the labeling and putting the soaps together, because it was just incredible. So it benefited me, it benefited him. And then here's the other part that I wanted to share with you that really touched my heart. As we're doing the t-shirts, and this one, it almost just brings a tear to my eye. And he's folding the t-shirts, I had my little logo on it, different colors. And he said, "Miss Peggy, how much are these t-shirts?" And I said, "Well, Kay, they're $20. But because you've been helping me, you are entitled to a discount. So you're going to get the t-shirt for $10. And he said, "Oh, okay, because I want to buy one for my mom." Isn't that just awesome? This story is so rich to me on so many levels. I learned about not brushing off young children. All right. Here was a boy that I thought, "Oh no, he's going to mess things up. He's not going to put it on. It won't be done right." And I tried it out for a day to see how it would work. And then when he brought his friend, I thought, "Oh, they're going to be goofing off and they're not going to get much done." I was completely wrong. These were like the best employees, basically, at that stage of the game that I ever had. And they were committed and they felt valued, that what they were doing, they were making a contribution. I didn't have to try to draw them away from video games or whatever else, these young kids were doing. And in fact, when they went back to school and the summer was over, it was a little bit with sadness that they no longer had these, as much free time as they did. But as I say, I did keep Kay on over the years, very part-time after school here and there. And he became a very trusted assistant for me. So I love sharing this story. And I would like to know if you worked as a young person and what it is you did and how that impacted your view of money, your value, how you value money, how you value work. And I have always had in me a very strong entrepreneurial drive. I think that's just a part of wanting to do things on my own, wanting to do it right, not wanting anybody to bother me. And I have had jobs. Oh my gosh, I worked for the federal government when I was a grad student doing my master's degree in international law and policy. And I worked for the Naval Postgraduate School. And I saw some shenanigans going on there at the federal government level that kind of, made me raise my eyebrows and go, wow, things are not really as they appear. I think I covered some of that in a previous video. I think it was called Things Are Not What They Appear. And then I also worked for the state of California. So the state government, when I was the director of teacher education at the University of California, Irvine Extension, running all of the K-12 professional development programs. And I got to see a lot of, how do I put it, waste in fraud in the state government as well. I mean, within our own department, and just a lot of redundancies and money that was not spent correctly. And if I had an idea for a new program, all of the bureaucratic machinations that it had to go through. And I really always preferred to just be on my own. So I want to tell you my stories of working as a young entrepreneur, the different businesses that I've had, starting with running a car wash wasn't really a business, but it was my first opportunity to make money at the age of 12. And I did that on my own. And then I went on to teach swimming lessons. Later, I went on to teach English in business writing, presentation skills, that kind of thing. And then, of course, I had my Living Swell business that I showed you. And also the Healthy American is an entrepreneurial endeavor. So I've made a lot of mistakes in my day, and I've had some successes along the way. And I want to share that with you. And I've got this as a brand new program, and it's called 10 Things I Wish I Had Known Before I Started My Businesses. But aside from that, that's just a quick checklist that you can skim through rather quickly. There is a companion video that you can watch of about 20 minutes in length, and I expand on each of those lessons that I've learned. So my goal is to help inspire you, whether you want to keep your job and just be better at it. Maybe you want to do a little side gig or a side hustle and get that going. Maybe you're retired, but you have gifts and talents that you want to share with the world. And I would love nothing more than to inspire and encourage you to do so. But I know that there can be stumbling blocks. How do I get started? How do I get going online? Somebody emailed me and said, Peggy, I even got so far as to get a website and I started getting the tabs, but then I didn't know where to go from there. Well, there are so many resources available for you in this bigger program that I'm a part of. So mine, I'll simplify it for you here. I've got a program that has a quick hit checklist and then a companion video. And then I want you to join me on a private webinar. It's a part of this program. And we are going to be diving into how to stop procrastinating on your dreams. I've got several tried and true techniques and tips and strategies and solutions for you if you've been spinning your wheels, if you've been going in different directions, but not really making any headway in the direction you want to go in. Maybe you're like me and you have tons of ideas and you don't know which one is worth pursuing. Maybe you want to really fine tune things and get some cash going for your ideas. And maybe you just feel so overwhelmed and you don't know where to begin. Maybe you feel it's too late in life. Maybe you feel that you're too busy or you don't have the money to get started. All of those are valid obstacles. And I want to help you overcome that in this private webinar. And that is going to be December 13th. It is live, but if you can't make it live, it will be recorded for you. So my goal is to bring you inspiration, education, encouragement, and empowerment so that you can really rise above all of the heartache, the psychological despair that the bad guys have been trying to slosh all over us. I wanted really this to be a positive video. I've had a lot of, I don't want to call it hate mail, so I'm just going to call it hate mail over the last couple of weeks. And it's so sad that people are living in fear, and that rather than do something better with their time than to send me like hate mail. And that is one of my tips, which is to create instead of complain, right? Create something better. If you don't like what I've got to say, make a YouTube channel, do your own Substack. It's absolutely free to do a Substack. It costs no money. You can go there and create your own platform. And I think that's a wonderful way that you can get started like that.